is 5 in the morning. John's off to work. Kids are sleeping for a couple hours. So this is my time to hash out anything technical that I need to do. And I have run into a major dilemma. I was plugging along on my infatuation shelf, which is my furthest dip right now. I got to this little, I'm probably like 90% done with this thing. I'm just working on the very end pattern and then that's it. So I'm probably 90% done with this thing. And I get to this little spot right here, which is supposed to be a dot stitch repeat, just like the whole damn body is. And it doesn't work up like it ever did before. So that sends off alarm bells in my head. I plug back through the pattern. I keep track of all stitch counts and whatnot, but I never double check them math-wise. So I pulled the math out and the math wasn't mathing. Yay! My mind's blown. I just can't. What do? I'm a very visual person here. So I cast on another. Because why not, So I am thoroughly double checking everything. I am only one stitch off, according to the math. That's somewhere in my body repeats. However, I think it's all the way back here. I'm not ripping this entire thing out, so I'm going to knit a second to thoroughly go through every single row and figure out where the heck this issue is. It would be great if it was just in this body part, because then I would just have to amend these few patterned rows. But if it's all the way back here, I'm kind of SOL at that point. Yeah, and I had a really sobering experience being a tester myself recently, which I think every designer should do. You need to get the perspective of what you're asking others to do for you. So I am going to work up infatuation number 2. I'm hoping to get through to the little bottom waves today. Hopefully, fingers crossed, these all work out and they're all good. If you've ever tested for me, you know that I need to do that. If there's issues, I'll be like, hang tight, I need to cast on some stitches and actually physically see it. I'm not you can just chart it out and you can figure it out that way. This girl can't do that. That's where I'm sitting right now. I am going to plug along on this tiny baby, and then I will check back later on. When I am woken up, I may not look so scary anymore, and I have had my coffee, or maybe 2. Pray for me. All right, it is now 2 o'clock in the afternoon. If you're still here, then you didn't get completely scared away by how I look first thing in the morning. I am very glad that I decided to start another infatuation instead of ripping back and trying to find the mistake. I did in fact find the mistake. Unfortunately, it was back in the beginning waves, which if I were just to rip back until I found it would be all the way. Yeah, I'm still going. All the way back here. In the 4th little wave, somehow I increased 1 extra stitch, which, because it was at the beginning of the row, would not be hard to just go ahead and amend the rest of the pattern at the beginning of every row by that 1 stitch. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to guess. I am somebody who likes to actually put the yarn on needles myself. I don't like to pay sample knitters or half write a pattern and say, here you go. I have had a couple testers over time that I've been on a tighter deadline, so they have actually knit as I've written something. I don't really like to do that. I've actually only done that twice. So with my second, I was also worried because I had picked this dark purple and it's called Blackberry. I was worried you wouldn't be able to see the dot stitch at all, but you can. And it's actually pretty. If I can get it in the light, you can see it. I'm using a speckled gradient for it. So each chunk of patterning will be its own color, which I think will be fun. It'll be a nice little contrast as opposed to just using 3 colors like I am in my original. I did accomplish my goal today, but this is just another piece of what it takes to be a knitwear designer. Sometimes you will be ripping more than you are actually knitting. Oh, and yeah, I actually did some ripping today. So my first 2 hours of work, almost all of it, got ripped out in about 2 minutes time. Why? Because I have in between each one of these little waves, there's 2 garter ridges. Way back here, I realized when I got through all of them that the bottom one was a stockinette row instead of a garter ridge. That can't happen, and I can't easily fix that. So I had to rip back. So yeah, that was not fun. I ripped it back, put everything back on the needles, and I got going. Again, I'm happy. I'm in a happy place with it. I'm just going to keep working on my second sample, just amending that one stitch because I already have the pattern written up until the very end point already. So I have a base. I just need to go and amend that one slimy stitch that decided to get added. This has been a mentally exhausting experience. I strive to make everything the best it could possibly be. So all that keeps playing in my head is being a tester myself recently. So I don't want to have to put anyone through any undue stress if I don't have to. I'm going to plug away on the body now. Body repeat of my infatuation, and the nice thing about that is it's 24 rows once I get those amended, and there's really only 4 patterned rows in there that I have to fix. The rest are knit or purl, and then I'm good to go. So shouldn't be too much work after that. Knock on wood. Knocking on wood. Hopefully you enjoyed this little look into my trials and tribulations this week. And particularly today, but yesterday is when I discovered the extra stitch. So my math wasn't mathin', and there was a good reason why. My math stopped mathing all the way down here. Really didn't want to rip my entire first sample out, so that will just be off by 1 stitch. And you know, they say you can live with some mistakes, and I'm gonna live with that one because there's no way I am ripping the entire thing back out when I'm just gonna make another one. So, and these are 2 totally different contrasting color examples. So it's not all for naught. It'll be a good thing in the end. Show more color options. So, until next time.